Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Magnum Gold Corp, MGI and the TSX Venture Exchange. A 2015 drill program on the LH property intersected several high-grade gold intersections, including 11 meters of 20.66 grams per ton gold. Additional drill targets on the LH property have been identified by a 2018 drone airborne magnetic survey to further evaluate a pyrrhotite-enriched gold-bearing system. Please visit our website at magnumgoldcorp.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Mish Shedlock, editor of Mish's Global Economic Trend Analysis on maven.net/MishTalk. Welcome back to the show, Mish.
Pleasure to be back on it.
Brexit. Is England going to walk away brusquely and independently, or are they still going to be able to negotiate an exit that has to supposedly happen by the end of March?
Well, March is almost a shoo-in now to be delayed. The question is for what reason? So there are a lot of people in favor of Brexit that have interpreted this as, well, they're just going to keep pushing this thing back and back and back until the UK finally agrees. But the other point of view, and the one that I'm on, is that the political forces are aligned in the UK such that nothing else can happen, and that a no-deal Brexit is the default option legally. It was interesting. Corbyn came out, Theresa May, after the vote of no confidence, and after the other vote in which she lost by 230 votes here on her Brexit deal, she offered Corbyn, Labour, a chance to get together with, and work out what the deal would be. And Corbyn's position, he's the Labour leader, he came out and he said, I'll talk, but only if you take no deal off the table. Now, if you stop and think about that, Jim, that's mathematically crazy, because legally, if they cannot agree to anything else, then no deal is exactly what happens. So no matter what, it is impossible to take no deal off the table, yet the UK press, the financial markets, the rise in the pound all seem to think that it's off the table. I would caution people not to take too much of these financial market opinions, because we recall what happened before Brexit itself. Supposedly it was a sure thing that the UK would stay in.
Well, of course, that's what the government was counting on. What does it mean to Canada and the U.S. if Britain just walks away? Do we negotiate separate deals with them? Do we, I know Canada does have a free trade agreement with Europe. Does it just duplicate the same thing with Britain?
Ideally, that's the whole silly thing about all of this, is they're talking about no deal calamities, planes won't fly, dogs and cats will be trapped in the EU and can't get back, or trapped in the UK and can't get home back to the EU. All kinds of nonsense here, when the reality is that a no-deal Brexit is really a World Trade Agreement Brexit, a WTO agreement. The UK will immediately, because it's a member of the WTO, will immediately have trade access to the EU under WTO rules. And all this talk of the UK doing this or the EU doing that, excluding all of that, there might be some service disruptions, but planes are going to fly. We have fear-mongering of alike that we saw right before Brexit. People didn't believe it then. For some reason, they're believing it now, or seem to be. The one option that is off the table is another referendum. There's no support for it anywhere. The Remainers are still clinging to that notion, but they're actually dwindling in numbers. Corbyn doesn't want it. May doesn't want it. I don't think the EU wants to wait for it. There's a handful of people, or actually specifically 71 MPs, that are in favor of that. Be interesting, Jim, to see which option they choose is their next best alternative, since that option is effectively removed. We'll probably be seeing more of those stats. But, I mean, the deal with Canada that you just asked me out, Canada, that took years, I think a decade, something like that, in the making. I don't think we're going to see the same thing here again. The EU is very slow to react, but in this case, if they can do it under grounds of negotiating the Brexit, I'm not positive if every EU country has to agree with it. But even so, Germany is in dire straits here with industrial production and car manufacturing. It is not going to want a hard Brexit that will make its exports to the UK extremely pricey. Germany will pay a huge price. They're going to pressure the rest of the EU to come up with something, and perhaps they even work out an arrangement in which they manage to get rid of this permanent backstop. But to meet the UK's demands, it will have to be legally binding.
The big question I'm always asked about this is the UK better off in or out of the European Union?
Oh, that's easy. Out. The EU has incredibly poor agricultural policies that favor France. As part of the EU, the UK cannot negotiate better trade arrangements with the US, with Japan, with anybody. It's stuck with whatever the EU does, and it's stuck with all of the EU rules on everything else. It's got a special carve-out on freedom of movement, but there's been pressure, constant pressure on the UK to give that up, constant pressure on the UK to give up the pound, constant pressure everywhere, every corner on the UK to submit to the EU's bureaucracy on everything. The UK is undoubtedly better outside of the EU. Now, there might be some temporary problems, but the temporary problems are with the UK. The permanent problems remain with the EU, and the UK needs to get away from them.
If the UK breaks away successfully, will other nations start breaking out of the EU, and will it collapse?
Quite possibly. I think that's the fear. The EU clearly wanted to punish the UK for leaving. They got a willing participant in Theresa May, who literally backed down off of everything she said. You know, for months she kept repeating a bad deal was better, a no deal was better than a bad deal. In the end, any deal was better than a bad deal. Any deal was better than no deal, and that's what she accepted to. Sold the farm. Now she's going to have to, and so the UK, the EU stuck with all of this. May eventually went along with everything. Guess what? The EU negotiated too good of a deal on its own behalf. The UK members of Parliament can't stand it, and that's why they voted it down. The EU negotiated too good of a deal, and now it might collapse on them.
Britain's largest supermarket chain has rented out more frozen food storage space. They anticipate there might be problems, but would they be long-term, and are they hedging bets or just publicizing something to make a political point?
I don't think it's a political point here, although the fear-mongering is certainly surrounding this. might have forced some companies to do some things. But food and medicine and the like, these will be among the first things that will be worked out. Possibly there's some sort of temporary disruptions here. I don't know. We're all guessing because we don't know how long a Brexit extension will last and what it will cover. The smart thing for them to do would be to extend Brexit long enough to work out some of these other agreements. So, in fact, there won't be, this hard, cliff edge talk that everyone's fearing. I'm in favor of a Brexit extension for that, to iron out some of the short-term crucial difficulties. And if they do that, then all of these, not everything, but most things will be taken care of, and then the rest of them can be taken point by point. If they get the main ones, food, medicine, air traffic, support, traffic underneath the tunnel between France and the UK, take care of those things, pets, agricultural inspections, good grief. We're talking about things coming in from the UK here now, and the EU's treating it like as if it's some sort of third world country, which, by the way, they deal with. So why can't we just have those kinds of inspections? We already have them now between the EU and Thailand or wherever they get onions from. So, why not just offer the same courtesy for the UK? This talk is crazy about some of the things they're discussing here that can't and won't happen, that actually will, because life goes on.
Now, I know going into the referendum, there were claims that Britain was giving tens of millions of dollars a day to the European Union and not getting anything back. Was that true?
Absolutely, that's true. And as part of the agreement, Theresa May agreed at a Brexit bill of something like £36 billion. That's crazy. And that's the UK's biggest bargaining chip right now is there are three big bargaining chips right now. The first is, screw you, we're not going to give you anything. We're taking our 36 billion, pounds, and we're going to hold them. Second thing is fishing rights. Sorry, France, you can't fish in our waters anymore, and believe me, the UK waters are much better to fish in than the French waters. And the third big point is in Germany's industrial production just collapsed, and huge tariffs here on if the UK would put even bigger tariffs on the EU. They would just follow suit and match whatever the EU does. German exports will plunge, and the UK is Germany's largest export partner. So there will be a lot of pressure from Germany on the rest of the EU to work something out if the UK just has the backbone to say, go to hell, we're walking away.
We'll have more with Mike Shedlock right after this.
MGX Minerals is revolutionizing the new energy economy with patented lithium extraction technology, replacing traditional solar evaporation using low-cost, low-energy nanofiltration. The first system of this paradigm shift technology is currently being commissioned. MGX Minerals trades on the CSE, symbol XMG, the OTCQB, symbol MGXMF, and Frankfurt, symbol 1MG. For more information, visit our website, mgxminerals.com.
I'm Kelly Jennings, CEO of PowerBand Solutions. PowerBand is a cloud-based provider of auction, inventory, and finance solutions that make buying, selling, and financing vehicles more efficient. PowerBand Solutions trades on the TSX Venture Exchange symbol PBX and on the OTCQB symbol PWWPF and on Frankfurt symbol 1ZV. For more information, please visit us at powerbandsolutions.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mike Shedlock. Mish, the world debt you noticed on your program and your release, $184 trillion in global debt. That works out to 86 grand per person. Well, 2/3 of the world's wealth is held by what? 400 people. Are they going to do the paying off for this debt? Who's responsible?
Yeah, let's just say that this stuff doesn't work. And meanwhile, we've got crazy talk here in the U.S. What's this new socialist wonderkin's name here? This woman wants a Green New Deal that's going to cost several $1 trillion a year, and we've got proposals out here to give everybody $1,000 a month in the U.S., and I worked out the math on that. That was a couple $1 trillion a year. People are floating around absolutely crazy financial ideas. People have no ideas how financial markets work. And I made a comment on my blog. Because of the polarization, we are seeing extremes, and I'm very fearful that the next election we are going to have some socialist nutcase versus some extreme right-winger, someone way worse even than Trump, because that is how polarization is shifting the United States. It is a very bad setup here. I think someone who was moderate would win the election hands down. The problem is such a person can't win the nomination for their party.
With so much talk of, we have to give away stuff for free, no one's talking about higher taxes to pay for that, and the government doesn't talk about cutting back spending at the same time either. When is this going to come to a crunch?
The socialists are out. They want a 70% maximum income tax here. The thing is, I mean, that would not even begin to pay for all the things they want. Believe it or not, it just doesn't go far enough. All the crazy ideas that they're touting here. No one has come out from either side and says, you know what? Why don't we slash the military spending bill in half? I mean, what do we need all of this for? Why don't we get out of NATO? Trump said that, but that's a trivial sum. We need to cut military spending in half. We have all these departments in the U.S. government and state governments and local governments. These bureaucrats don't do anything. Pension promises are piling up left and right on states. That's another piece of the problem that isn't even in all of this discussion of federal talk.
We'll have more with Mike Shedlock right after this.
Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp., RMO, on the TSX Venture Exchange. Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp. is a Canadian-based mineral exploration project generator. The company currently holds multiple property interests in Ontario with joint venture partners and is seeking further joint venture partners for other drill-ready properties in our portfolio. For more information, please visit our website at rmroyalty.com or call me at 604-922-2030.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mike Shedlock. Mish, the Detroit Auto Show, the biggest in the world, seems to say everything is going electric, should be electric, including the Ford F-150 pickup truck. Is America ready to buy electric pickups?
I don't think so. Not yet. Might it be in 3 or 4 years? Possibly. I don't know. I don't know the timeline on that. But for that to happen, we certainly need something to happen. We need more miles per charge. we need faster charging times, and we need more places to charge cars and trucks. Until those three things are in place, my answer is no. When will they be in place? I don't know. The bigger disruption in my mind is one that people seem to have given up on, but we're going to have self-driving trucks by 2021 at the latest. We're still on that path, 2022 maybe. And the minute they are approved not the minute, but within a year or so of when those things are approved, we're going to see most of the trucks on the interstate highways be self-driving. It's going to be hub to hub. There will still need to be a driver to take that final delivery, into the city or its final destination. But the long haul job over the interstate is every one of those jobs, and it's millions of them, are going to vanish.
Right. What I hear right now in Nevada, they're test driving 10 truck convoys with a driver in the last one to look after things like broken pipes or flat tires.
That's interesting. Normally it would be so the last one you're saying here.
Yeah, so you can keep an eye on everybody.
The construct that I heard is it would be the first one leading the way. I don't know. I guess the last makes more sense. The first one being automated and one on the end. That's just a temporary stopgap here. Although that's the direction things are going to be heading. Once we get self-driving in place, I mean, there will be an incentive actually to drive probably at the speed limit. We're no longer going to see truckers in a mad dash to get home after the last delivery because they're under their hours restriction of being able to drive that truck. So, that goes away. They will likely drive them at a speed that is the most efficient for recharging. Those kinds of things. I presume, I don't know whether that's 55 miles an hour or what, but whatever that speed is, they will probably drive at that. It'll be safer. We're going to get rid of all kinds of accidents. Yeah, there's going to be convoys, but they're also going to have to test ways. They can't do these around entrance and exit ramps, because a car can't get in. So they will need to work out some processes like that. But all that has to be in play here now. It's probably being tested right now in Nevada.
Mish, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Pleasure to be on.
My guest has been Mish Shedlock, editor of Mish's Global Economic Trend Analysis on maven.net/MishTalk. If you have any questions for Mish or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@howstreet.com. Find us on Twitter @HowStreet, our YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.